Hello everybody and welcome back to Factorio. I hope that I fixed the mic issues. I think I've resolved them. I did some testing earlier today and everything seemed to sound okay. So fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed that what happened last video doesn't happen again. Otherwise I'm going to have to maybe replace my equipment. I don't know. I don't know. Anywho, so last time we got red circuits set up. We've now added red circuits to the bus. We got our basic oil set up. So things are looking pretty good. Again, with oil, in general, you're going to want to just monitor how things are working, right? To make sure that things aren't backing up. And it looks like, and even when they do back up, if everything backs up, that's fine. It looks like we don't have enough coal, so I think we need to solve that problem. And the closest coal patch is way down here. So I think now it is time to do some trains. So let's go ahead and clean up our inventory. Let's see, what am I going to do with all this sulfur in my inventory? Goodness. Because I'm not using the sulfur anywhere yet. Oh wait, yes I am. Sulfuric acid up in the oil processing. Also, we haven't finished upgrading all these smelters either. All these furnaces. So maybe we'll do that too. But let me go ahead and clean up my inventory first. So let's see, where can I... Who wants rocks? Who wants rocks? Landfill typically likes rocks. Yep. Okay, good. Smart me put a chest here too. Which is awesome. And then I can put some wood here. Go ahead and drop off iron somewhere that uses it. Do you use iron? Yes, you do. Who uses copper? Who uses copper? You use copper. Here you go, have some copper. You use copper too, right? Yes, you do. Lovely. And steel. Perfect. You use steel. And then you also use green circuits. And then I've got extra batteries I don't know what to do with. Oh wait, yes I do. Durr. Batteries. I'm going to give to the accumulators here. I'm going to keep these personal batteries here because whatever. I need to drop off this light armor to my dump chest. And then plastic bar and sulfur. So let's run back up here to our oil setup. Our research is all backed up, right? Yeah, because we need blue science. Okay. Okay. Life's good. No worries. So it looks like all of our refineries aren't refining. Is it because we're out of oil? No, crude is actually okay. Is it because... Oh goodness. Is it because plastic is backed up? That's fine. It's okay for plastic to be backed up. Are these guys? Oh, they're not getting enough petroleum. Maybe we do need more crude oil coming into here to keep everything happy. Yep, that's what it looks like. It looks like we need more crude oil. We can solve that pretty quickly too. We just go and tap that stuff. And it looks like I've got all the stuff in my inventory I need to do it, so let's go do that real quick. In the meantime, let's keep cleaning up our inventory. I'm just going to drop all this sulfur off that I can. There we go. And then red circuits and plastic I'll have to drop off a little bit later because we're not using it yet. Cool. So let's charge on up to our other oil, which is actually down here. And then we're just going to pipe the crude oil into our refinery here. So it's not going to be too crazy of a setup. We're just going to go over here, throw in some pump jacks, throw in some undergrounds. Maybe a pump every now and then if I have pumps in my inventory. Do I? I do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and throw pumps here. That way I can see them. Perfect. Perfect. So it is a little bit of a distance. I'm tempted to train it in, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Alright. So we're going to be piping it in general this direction, so I'm just going to face all of the pump jacks this way. Except for that one. That one's going to have to go down. That one too. This is a lot of oil. If this doesn't solve our crude oil just not being sufficient for what we're trying to do, then I don't know what does. Okay, so let's get it all hooked up. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just do the straight line here and have all these others connect downward maybe onto it. So I'm going to do the straight line here, just all the way like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and just connect all the underground pipes to it. So this guy, there we go. Now let's get this guy connected. Again, if this is a little sloppy, it's fine. You're not going to come here all that often, so it's all good. So I wouldn't worry about being sloppy too much. I don't know if you guys can hear my son or not, but he's adorable. He is adorable. I'm not quite sure what he's saying though. He learned some new words or something in preschool, but I can't quite make out what they are. Wow, this is a lot of pump jacks. Goodness gracious. Yeah, this is a lot of oil. We should not have to pump any more oil after this, at least until the rocket launch. You would need to pump more oil if you decided you wanted to mega base, but for just getting the rocket launch done, we shouldn't need any more oil than this, I don't think, especially once we get advanced oil processing researched. Get those hooked up. Let's get these hooked up. Let's get these hooked up. There we go. Let's get these hooked up. Just a lot of hooking stuff up. Whoops. There we go. Get that stuff hooked up. Okay, that's all hooked up. We're almost all connected up. I think what I want to do is I want to go ahead and rotate this downward too. And then hook that up. Hook that up. And then hook that up. Okay, I think we're all hooked up. Everything appears to be hooked up, at least while I'm looking at it. So let's go ahead and get power poles everywhere. Whoops. Again, if it's sloppy, it's fine, as long as everything is covered. Because again, you're not going to be visiting the pump jacks very often, right? They just pump oil forever and ever and ever. Now, one thing to note is over time, the amount of oil that they pull up does degrade over time. They'll never completely run out, but they will slow down. So that's something to look out for. So over time, eventually, this is a very high yield area though. Like if we look at the map, you can see the percentage yield is like 6,000%. So this is a very high yield area. This isn't going to run out anytime soon, but over time it will degrade. It will over time. So eventually you would want to make sure that you'd want to make sure that you get more oil before you start to really scale up to like a mega base kind of thing, so that way you don't run out. But yep, so now that we've got that in place, we're going to go ahead and pipe it back. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw a pump here. I'm going to also connect big power poles over back this way before I forget. So that way we can actually get these guys connected to power officially. There we go. We're not connected to power yet. They're still angry and blinking, but that's okay. We'll get them connected to power shortly. We'll just drag the big power poles over to our oil refinery as we drag the crude oil that way. Almost there. Maybe worthwhile to throw another pump on there. The underground pipes help carry the oil a longer distance than above ground pipes do. I don't know why I put that power pole there. But I like to throw on extra pumps because they don't really hurt anything and it just helps keep things moving that much smoother. Let's see, we're almost back to our power grid. There we go. We are connected. I forgot to put a radar up there. Oh no. But we can check to see if they're working. I don't know if I want to run all the way back up there. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. It's good practice to run up there, make sure you have full radar coverage all around your base at all times. It's just good general practice. So I'm gonna do it. I'm also going to put some radars along the way because, again, good general practice to have good radar coverage of everything that you're building. That way you can always monitor, check for where things have gone wrong, if things are going wrong. But yep, the crude oil is indeed coming, so that's good. You can tell that the crude oil is there because the pipes have the little icon on them. If you hover over them, you can also see that the pipes are full. So we have a lot of crude oil coming in now that we're going to be able to use and process, which is lovely. Which is lovely. You can see that it's so backed up that most of the pump jacks have stopped working. Some of them are still working, but it's not very many of them. So we need to get this hooked back up to our refinery area, and then we'll be all set. So yeah, we're all backed up. Even the pump can't push any more forward. This is completely backed up. The pump is holding a little bit, and then this pipe is basically full too. But all good. All good, all good, all good. And like I said, just to make sure things keep moving, which they should. I'm not too worried about it, but just to keep things moving, I'm going to go ahead and throw on another pump. around here-ish. There we go. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have oil. Now our refinery should be more than happy. Yeah, look, the pipe is just super filling up super fast. Whoo! Our refineries are super happy now. And now everything is all backing up, which is kind of what we want, right? It's better to back up than not have enough. Cool, so we fixed the oil. Now we still need to fix our coal, though. We still have that coal problem. So let's go ahead and put all of our oil stuff away for now. Well, I have plenty of inventory space. I also want to finish upgrading all of my smelting columns. So let's grab some more steel furnaces and do that real quick before I go train in some more coal. Because training in stuff is going to take a little while, and I just want to solve all these little things first. You know, low-hanging fruit and all. So let's go ahead and grab those. Let's put away what we've got so far. And then I'm also going to, let's see, is there anything else I need to put away? Well, yeah, the wood. Okay. Wood. Okay, so let's finish upgrading all of our stuff. There we go. That way we use less coal. And if you have biters turned on, you'll pollute a little bit less this way too. So all good. Alright, so all of those have been upgraded. Now let's start upgrading these ones up here too. Upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. Upgrades, lots of upgrades. It's amazing how quickly you go through these furnaces. We had 300 when I started doing these upgrades, now we're already almost out. In fact, I don't have enough to finish upgrading the last sets. I can upgrade the bricks. There we go. But I still need to upgrade that last one. Maybe we've got 48 steel furnaces by the time we get back to the mall. Look at all those stone furnaces. So I'm going to go and throw those in storage. Almost enough. Almost enough. We're going to go and just wait it out a little bit. We need just 2 more. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's finish upgrades. I didn't upgrade green circuits yet, did I? Oh yeah, I did. I did make another green circuit column. Okay. Or row in this case. It's not a column if it's horizontal. So I did make a circuit row, which is good. We're probably going to need even more green circuits, but I'll worry about that once we actually start running out. No biggie. No biggie. Okay, cool. So we've got all those upgrades done. Let's go ahead and drop off our stone furnaces. There we go. We're going to go ahead and drop off our pump jacks too, because like I said, I don't think I need any more pump jacks. I'm pretty sure that's all of the crude oil for the rest of the game. There we go. Now let's start grabbing train stuff. So, for trains, we're going to need lots of track. I'm going to go ahead and just also throw all the train stuff here. Tracks, stops, signals. And then locomotives. Actually, I'm going to put locomotives here. No, I'll put locomotives here. It's fine. Locomotives, wagons, and fluid wagons. Okay. So we're going to need not very many locomotives and not very many wagons. So I'm just going to grab a couple. And then we're going to need our signals. Just a stack should be fine. Again, I'm going to make these really simple, so I'm not too concerned. I should have grabbed the other stack of chain signals, but that's okay. No worries. No worries at all. Where do I have the dump chest? I usually have it by power. So that way I can drop off this old armor that I have. I forgot I've got my modular armor on and I can run on belts without any issues. I keep trying to avoid the belts out of habit. Okay, where is my dump chest? Where is my dump chest? Where is my dump chest? Also, how's power doing in general? Okay, we're okay. I lost the dump chest, guys, I lost it. Or maybe I didn't even have it in the first place. We're starting to run a little low on stone, too. We're going to need to get more of that eventually as well. But for now, I'm not too concerned. But you can see our miners have been mining away. These will continue to mine out over time as well. Which is totally fine. Whoops. Totally fine. Really? I don't have a dump chest around here? Alright, fine. Well, I'm gonna stick it... Where do I want to stick my dump chest? Maybe I'll stick it by the mall. That way it's easy to find. I usually stick it by power. That's why I was looking over there. Where did I dump my original ammo? See, now I'm confused. I don't know where I dumped the original ammo at. Oh well. If I have 2 dump chests, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw an extra dump chest. Oh, you know what? I'll just throw the extra stuff in here. So let's see. I don't want light armor. I'll keep the batteries on hand because eventually I'll want them. I'm going to need a lot more red belt now that I'm here, actually, thinking about it. So it's a good thing we came back. We're going to need a lot more red belt. So let's go ahead and just grab all of it. Let's grab another stack of splitters, too. Let's grab, like, 3 more stacks of underground belts. Okay. I think we have enough of what we need to solve the coal problem. And also, everything is backing up. Everything is backing up, which is fine. Wow, that's beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so let's go get coal. So what we can do is... Where would I want to drop it off at? Up over here, maybe? Maybe. Something like that. Let's see. But all good. Let's build the outpost first, and then we'll bring it back to the base. Again, I'm going to keep this really simple. Not quite as simple as my tutorial level 5 where I did double-headed trains. This time I'm going to do single-headed trains. So that way I can show you guys how the routing works in that case, because that's a bit more common to use in the community. So yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to lay some track, right? I'm going to lay some track around here. There's 2 coal patches we could potentially mine. I can add another stop here down the line if we need to. I'm just going to get this one for now, just to keep things nice and brief. So we're going to lay some track this way. Clear the rocks out of the way. My goodness. The desert landscape is not happy with me. Let's also lay some track this way. Okay, so this is going to be where our stop's at. So I'm going to go ahead and place a stop here, and I'm going to do what's called right-hand drive, because I am American, and I'm used to things driving on the right side of the road. So for me, right-hand drive makes a little bit more sense, at least to my American brain, right? A lot of people prefer left-hand drive trains. That's the most common kind of train in the world, I think. But I'm going to do right-hand drive. What that basically means is if I have 2 train tracks running in parallel, right? I always want trains going on the right side of the tracks. So if I have a second pair, if I have a second set of rails also running in parallel like this, when trains are moving, I want trains to be moving from left to right on this track, and then from right to left on this track. That's right-hand drive. Left-hand drive is the other way around. So let's go ahead and place a stop here. I'm going to go ahead and place it. There seems good. And then just to help me set up, I'm going to go ahead and place the train, right? That way I can get everything set up. Oh, I needed more blue inserters. That's not good. And do I have steel chests? I do not. Man, I didn't think this all the way through. Alright, well, let's go ahead and do our run of shame. We're going to run back to the base in shame. I knew I was forgetting something. I always forget something. Whenever I do my first train setup, I'm always forgetting something. And in this case, I'm forgetting steel chests, which you're going to use for buffering the items in between the train runs. You can use iron chests, it's fine, but they just can't hold as much as steel chests, so it's not quite as much of a buffer. Is that a dead pixel? Uh-oh. I'll have to check on that. Oh, it seemed to have fixed itself. Okay. Weird. Okay. Let's see now. Let's go up here and get some steel chests. Where are my iron chests being crafted? If anywhere. If anywhere. Okay, there's the iron chest. I'm going to go ahead and just drop the iron chests off. I don't really want them anymore. And instead, I want steel chests. So where am I making my steel chests, if anywhere? I might not be making them at all. It looks like I'm not making them at all, which is a little sad. So let's go ahead and fix that. We want steel chests. So you're going to take steel, you're going to output. Oh, oops. Hold on, I'm going to go ahead and make a steel chest. Let's steal some steel. There we go. There we go. And then we're going to go and limit that to like 4. So while that's working, I'm just going to manually make more steel chests myself. Lovely. Okay, you take the leftover steel. What else do I have? Rocks. Always have rocks. I always have rocks. And then coal. Let's drop the coal off here. Lovely. Okay, now we need blue inserters. Also, why do I have solar? Oh, I know why I have solar panels, because I was making personal solar panels before. Let's go ahead and drop these solar panels off. Looks like we're actually stacked full of solar panels, which is kind of nice. Let's go ahead and upgrade that chest then, and then throw these solar panels in there. Then again, I'm just going to drop off my excess iron chests, and then blue inserters. The reason why the blue inserters is because we're not doing stack inserters yet. Oh, we actually could. We could do stack inserters. Let's see, stack inserters, take blue inserters. Well, I didn't plan this out very well. I would have liked to have the stack inserters draw from this blue inserter chest, but it's okay. We'll come back and we'll automate stack inserters later. It's okay. You can do trains with fast inserters, but stack inserters work a lot better. But it should still be fine. Should still be fine. So now the question is do I want 4 cargo wagons on a train, or do I just want 2? You could even just do 1. Maybe I'll do 2. That way things fill up and move a little bit faster. Whereas with the 4 things go a little bit slower. But you get more per trip, obviously, because you have 4. Maybe I'll go for just 2 for now. If I feel like I need to do 4 later, I can always change it. As long as I make my rails big enough to hold 4, I can always upgrade to 4 later. Pretty easily. Alright, so here's how we're going to load the train up. I'm going to go ahead and pull these 2 final cargo wagons off. Clear the rocks out of the way, because stupid rocks. Always the rocks. Always, always the rocks. Okay. Rocks and trees, man. Rocks and trees. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we are going to take the coal and we're going to load it off of belts, right? So we're going to have belts go like this. And then these guys are going to pull from the belt and put them into the chests. That way, while the train is away, they can still be pulling from the belt and into the chest. Then these guys are going to pull from the chest and load up the train. So these buffer chests are helpful, so that way your belts don't back up until your chests are completely full. And then as the train comes in, these guys always have something to pull from the chests, and it's not waiting on the throughput from the belt. So that's why this setup works nicely. So we'll get that hooked up to power, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick a splitter there and there. And then we will, let's go ahead and get our mining set up. This is going to be a lot of coal, which is really nice. I'm not too concerned if the miners run out a little bit faster. It's fine. Oh no, that one's fine there. 2, 3. So yep, we're just gonna go up and down the columns and get everything pulled out of the ground. We are not a green energy establishment yet. We will be green energy later. We are not green energy now. Lots of coal all the time. We'll be green energy later, once we actually get bots and have bots place giant solar arrays, and then we can eventually move on from stone and steel furnaces to electric furnaces, pull from our electric kit that way for smelting, things like that. Green energy is nice because obviously it lowers the amount of pollution that you generate, which is really nice for the biters. Obviously in our playthrough here, it doesn't really matter how much pollution you generate, but in worlds with biters, the pollution you generate does have an impact. Okay, so let's go ahead and get all these belts routed. Life will be a little bit easier with bots. We'll be able to just have bots set all this up. That way we don't have to manually set this up. Hopefully for too much longer. We should be able to get blue science pretty quickly, and then from there we should be able to get bots pretty quickly. Maybe not in this video, but in one coming up soon. Okay, so we are using red belts, right? Now, if you guys remember, miners will completely fill up a yellow belt with 30 miners. For red belts, I believe that number is now 90. So it's pretty crazy. So what we want to do is we want to get a count, right? And looks like we can get like 1.5 red belts of stuff with the miners that we have. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 2, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal a blueprint from KOS, who stole those blueprints from someone else, for what's called a balancer, right? Where you go from one number to another number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 belts, and we want to go from 7 to 2. So I'm going to steal a 7 to 2 balancer from KOS, because I don't have the balancers memorized. So yeah, I'm just going to steal it. I feel like I built the train station a little too close now, but it's okay. Let's see, we can snake it a little bit. We can do something like this. And then we'll just route the belts to it that way. That's fine. A little messy, but it'll get the job done. Okay, so now let's route our belts there. Just doing some routing, doing some routing. There we go. Again, I keep avoiding the belts out of habit. Been playing without the modular armor for so long that I just avoid belts out of habit. But now that I have the modular armor with the belt immunity, I should just be able to run where I please. And I need to internalize that, which is nice. It'll be nice. Okay. And then what we do is we take the 2 belts from this balancer and we're going to route them towards the train. So this one's going to go over here, and then we're just going to go right on in. And then this one is going to go here, and then it's going to go right on in. Now we just need to get everything hooked up to power, and our mining outpost should be set up. Then we just have to route the train. And then once we get the train routed, that will be a video for us. And we will call it a day. Lovely, lovely. Lovely, lovely. With the medium power poles, you don't have to place quite as many power poles, which is kind of nice. Because they got more coverage, they can span over the miners instead of needing to be routed through like over or under a belt kind of thing. It just makes it a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to set up, which is nice. I like medium power poles. I wish their radius was a little bit bigger sometimes, especially when setting up solar fields. I end up preferring to use substations for solar eventually because the medium power pole coverage just isn't quite there. Substations have a really nice coverage. And I think that's the point, right? The substations provide the nice coverage. And then let's get this connected to this. And then eventually we'll get all of this connected to power. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So now let's go ahead and set up our actual train, like our rail setup. So again, what I'm thinking is I think I'm going to drop off around here. So let's go ahead and build rails that way. Now I'm going to go ahead and start routing down. And then back over this way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go back and cut down the tree. Go back this way. So that way later on down the line, if I want to go get that other coal, I can, right? So what we're doing here is we're going to be creating our core, I guess you can say highway, right? Our core train network, where you have our core highway that can go wherever. And then what you do is just like an off-ramp on a highway, you have the trains take the off-ramp and then go here to a station and then go back onto the highway, right? Onto the train network. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the two parallel setup, right? Because for one-headed trains, they're only going to be able to go one direction, which means you need a forward and a backward. You need a left and a right. And the way I like to do that is I like to go 1, 2, and then do the parallel 2 spaces away. And that leaves enough room for things like large power poles in between. So that way you can route power through. So this is our basic setup. So we want the train to come from this way. So that means the train's going to come this way, and then we need to give it a roundabout so it can circle back and then come here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just build the roundabout now. We can delete the roundabout later and then extend it further out for the other coal patch if need be. So I'm going to go ahead and do the roundabout. Now this is a little tricky. I always mess this up. Okay, that gets the job done. There we go. It's not quite as tight as you can possibly make it, but it'll get the job done. So now the trains can come from this way, use the round, go around, and then come this way. So now we need to actually pull off of the tracks and have the train come here, right, to our off-ramp, more or less. So I'm going to go ahead and build my off-ramp. Like that, see? And I'm going to go ahead and pull that away, pull that away, and boom! So now we have an off-ramp to our outpost. And I'm going to rename our train stop here Iron Ore Pickup. That way it'll be really easy for me to know what these outposts do when I'm setting up the train automation. So yep, not Iron Ore Pickup. What's wrong with me? This is coal. This is coal pickup. What is wrong with me? I think it's because I typically do an iron outpost first, so old habits die hard. But yeah, coal pickup. Okay. So we've got that set up, which is nice. So let's go ahead and take the train down. And now we need to go ahead and start routing back to our home base. Back to our home base. So this can get a little annoying at times because we are going to have to build 2. Again, bots, especially with personal roboports, it's going to be really nice later. Building train network, building a train network. For now, again, like I said, it's going to be really simple. Oh, another thing too is whenever you have on-ramps, off-ramps, intersections, you're going to want to make sure you signal those. It's also typically good practice to signal along the straight path too, just to make sure that as trains stop, they don't kill each other. I'm not going to do that yet, but well, maybe I will. But anyway, there's a general rule that you want to follow, right? So for here, we can just use a basic signal in order to break this up. So we're going to go ahead and signal here. And then we're going to also signal on the way out. And that's going to break this up into its own block that the trains will then read. So if we grab a signal here, you can see, for example, this block is now a purple line, right? So this is its own separate block, and only one train can be in a block at a time. So trains will be able to travel all along here all they want. They'll be able to come in here too, as long as there's not already another train somewhere in this block. So that's what the signals do, is it helps break things up into blocks. When you do intersections, you're going to want to use chain signals in order to further expand on the block. And there's a very basic rule to follow when it comes to intersections. We're not going to get into intersections today, I don't think, but we will later. But for signaling intersections, the basic rule of thumb there is chain in, rail out. So chain signal into the intersection, and then a rail signal out of the intersection in order to break it down properly into the blocks, in order to make sure that trains aren't crashing into each other as they go through the intersection. Alright, about where are we at on the map? Do I want to start moving up yet? Just about. Let's go straight a little bit longer. How's that? Alright, that's pretty good. I can start routing my way up now. So we're going to go ahead and turn up. And now, the corners are a little bit tricky when you're building rails manually like this. So if they're not 2 spaces apart perfectly on the corners, don't worry too much about it. It's fine. It's fine. The 2 spaces on the straightaways will be more than enough. If you're a little sloppy, you're a little sloppy, just like the rest of your factory, right? Totally fine. So let's see. That's about 2 spaces, I think. Let's go ahead and extend this out more. And then we're going to go 1, 2 here, straight away. So that's what we're looking to connect to. So let's go ahead and try to connect to that. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. I think this might be 3 rails in between, but it's fine. Like I said, if it's a little sloppy, so what? So now we're just going to keep working our way up. And then now that we're close to the base, I want to build another roundabout, right? So that way the trains can turn around and come back. So let's see. And then again, I want 2 spaces. 1, 2, here. So that's where I want to connect back to. So perfect, like that. And then let's work our way back down. Rock. Rocks and trees, man. Rocks and trees. Always with the rocks and trees. Always with the rocks and trees. But yeah, you can see now why I grabbed so many rails. We're going to go through rails pretty quick. Awesome. So now we have the basic network in place, right? Where the train can run around back and forth, doing all the loops it needs to do. Now we need to go ahead and pull off, right? Just like what we did with the outpost, we want to provide an area for it to pull off to drop the ore off. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing that we did before. So as we get closer to the base, we're going to want to pull off. I'm going to do it just past these rocks here, hopefully. There we go. And then I like to make them a little bit on the bigger side, like that, and that's fine. There we go. And there we go. And then we're going to put another stop here. And I'm going to call this coal drop-off. If I can spell today. Coal drop-off. Put the little icon there too, just to make it look cool and fancy. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our train here so I can build the unloading. I like to put the train down just so that way I don't have to try to visualize it. So we're going to do the unloading very similar to how we did the loading. But this time I'm going to do it on all 4 sides. So that way we can unload as quick as we can. So that way we can keep the train moving. Because that's what we want to do. We want to keep the train moving as much as we can. And then again, I'm going to do that. And then we're going to unload that way, treat, unload that way, unload that way. Same deal on this side, unload that way, and unload that way. And now we've got 4 red belts worth of stuff coming out. Now, do we need 4 red belts of coal? Probably not, but it's all good. What I also want to do is I want to make sure that we're loading the train up with fuel, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and split off some of the coal that's going to come out. From this line, we can just steal it from this line, it's fine. And then I want to route it back to the train. So I'm going to put a fast inserter here with a chest, again, for buffer. And then I'm just going to route some of the coal back in that way. So the train can essentially feed itself. We'll be able to use the coal later on to feed other trains too. But for now, we just need the train to be able to feed itself. And there we go. So now what we need to do is we need to route the coal back to our bus, right? So this is kind of where things get a little bit tricky. But I guess I'll just route it back. Oh, I didn't put radars here. Where do I want to route it back to? I guess what I'll do is I will route it. I guess I'll route it up here and then merge it that way. Maybe I'll route it up here and merge it that way. Maybe that's what I'll do. So this is going to be overkill, right? We don't need this much coal, and we probably will never need this much coal. So I'm just going to move... Let's see, how do I want to do this? Because, yeah, we don't need this much coal. But it's all good. Let's see. I want to go ahead and merge it onto here. So that way we always make sure we have coal going to power. And now I'm going to merge another line over to... I'm going to merge another line over to here. So that way we make sure that we have plenty going to our furnaces as well. Merging stuff onto our existing infrastructure can always be a little sloppy, but it's fine. It's always going to be fine. So now we're going to bring belts down, clear the rock, bring belts down. And then this belt we can bring up in order to meet it. And also bring this belt up in order to meet it. I like to give myself some extra space just to really make sure I'm clearing the tracks. I think I'll merge this one. Or maybe I'll merge this other one down here. Now I'm not sure. Now I am not sure. Because like I said, it's going to be a lot of coal. A lot of coal. But we'll figure out where to route everything. So that one is now routed up and merging there. Where do I want to merge the next coal in? I think I want to merge another coal in around here. Because what we're doing, right, is we're taking the coal that's going up here to these smelting columns, and we're splitting it off to go down here. So what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and merge some coal here too. Just making sure that everywhere that we're using coal gets the coal that it needs. Let's go and clear those ghosts. And then we can go ahead and take this coal and route it across our tracks. Again, making doubly sure that we clear the tracks. We don't want them to take damage. As long as they clear the tracks, they should be fine, but like I said, I like to give myself some extra space. Extra peace of mind that way. Let's go ahead and bring some ghosts down so I know where to turn. And there we go. So that's 3 connected. And then I think the 4th one we'll just put right onto the bus, like right here. So that way later on down the line when we're pulling it, it's all good. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and put some space there. And then we're going to put that there. And then merge that way. Good stuff. Good stuff. So where is our last bit coming off? Right around that way. So that means we're going to want to loop that around a little bit. And that's fine. Let's see. Or I can reconnect. That's fine, I'll just loop it. It's whatever. Again, a little sneaky, a little sloppy, but it's fine. I'm going to give me a little bit of room though, again, in case I want to upgrade to 4-car trains later. And there we go. We're looking pretty good. So now that we've got all that set up, I'm going to go ahead and throw some coal into this train. And then I'm going to manually drive it around while connecting everything to power, right? Because now we need a whole bunch of big power poles actually connecting us to power. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a power pole here. And then again, just like always, I'm just going to hold and drag. Get that connected like that. And then I want to go ahead and get this connected down here too. And then we'll use that as our starting point. We'll also want to get this signaled up too, right? So again, we're doing an off ramp. So here we just need regular signals in order to break it up into its own little block. So we're going to go ahead and put a signal here. And then we're going to come all the way over. We're going to put a signal on the other side in order to break it up into its own block. And again, only one train can be in a block at a time. But for now, we only have one train. All right, so let's hop in our train. Let's go ahead and drive around. I'm going to go slowly. I'm going to grab our big power pole. You can go quickly if you want to, but I like to go a little bit on the slower side, just to make sure I don't mess it up. So I'm going to click and then hold, and then I'm going to drive, so that way it drags, right? So click, drag. And that way we get everything connected. And then when we get to the curve, things get a little tricky there. Oh. There. No, I'm just going to go right there too. Okay, lovely. So we've got power mostly connected. So we're going to open up the train. I'm going to go ahead and control left click on the stop, so that way the train moves there. And then we're going to hop off the train and finish connecting everything to power, and we should see everything just turn on. I'm also going to want to put radars around again, right? Just to make sure that we have our coverage exactly where we need. And yep, sure enough, everything clicked on. We should be getting coal soon. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and start programming our train for automatic stops, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, everything's clicking on, looking good, awesome. So when we click on the train, we want to go ahead and automate how our train is going to run all by itself. And we did this in tutorial level 5, and I'm going to basically do the same thing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, this is going to be our coal train. So our coal train is going to start at coal pickup, and it's going to leave coal pickup after certain conditions are met. So I want the train to leave coal pickup once all of its cargo is full, or if nothing has happened for 5 seconds. So once the cargo is full, or if nothing has happened for 5 seconds, everything is just backed up, the train will keep moving. Then I want it to go from coal pickup to coal drop-off. And I want it to leave coal drop-off once it has empty cargo, or after 5 seconds of inactivity. And that should be it. So now that this is almost full, let's go ahead and hop on the train and let's watch how this goes, right? So you can see here the fast inserters can't quite keep up with the belts. So again, we're going to want to automate stack inserters, come back and upgrade those. But the train's still loading at a relatively quick pace, so we're doing okay. These are already almost full. If you click on the train, you can see the status bar go up as all of its cargo wagons fill up. You can also hover over the cargo wagons and see the storage there, 35 out of 40, 36 out of 40. So cargo wagons can hold up to 40 stacks. So those are the number of stacks. Now it's 39 stacks and then 40 stacks. And now that that's full, it should leave. Perfect. So now our train is leaving, and it's going back to our coal drop-off. So we're just going to chill in here and make sure that things are running. Sure enough, it goes to coal drop-off, where all the coal gets dropped off. And then we use some of the coal to refuel our train. If we hover over the train, you can see the amount of fuel that it has. We had about 30 to start. Now the train has 60. And then you can see the storage is emptying down. We're already halfway empty, which is great. You can see some of the stuff backing up already, which is not so great because I didn't actually finish connecting it. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and wait for everything to empty out. That's why the buffers are nice to have, right? Because if things do back up, the buffer chests will also back up. And now that this is empty, the train proceeds to do the loop again, right? So it's going to go back to coal pickup. And it's got to do a little bit of a loop because, again, right-hand drive. And it's going to pick up some more coal, rinse and repeat forever and ever and ever. So that's the idea. Awesome. So now let's go ahead and get radar coverage on everything. That's what we're looking for. Also be careful when running on tracks. Everybody in Factorio dies to trains eventually. You will be no exception. I am no exception. We have all died to trains in Factorio. It happens. It's normal. Don't even worry about it. There's an achievement for it anyway, I think, if I remember correctly. So now we're going to go ahead and clean up our train network. Now that we have the basics set up, we're going to go ahead and radar coverage it up. That way we can see everything that's going on at all times. Again, full surveillance. We want to go full China on our factory. Full surveillance. So going along here. All right, perfect. We're going to go ahead and place another radar here. And then we are going to place another radar probably around the corner, at the corner. And then that will conclude our coverage of our rail setup so far. Yep, corner seems fine. And now let's go ahead and start breaking our rail setup up into blocks along the straightaways, because eventually we're going to have more than one train, right? And like I said, only one train can be in a block at once. And so you don't want a train that's traveling from one station to another to just hog the entire network, right? So you want to break it up. So we're going to use rail signals just to occasionally break up our straight paths. And I like to do it around each power pole, more or less, right? So I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one here. And then that gives you, that's not quite 4 train cars worth of space though. So maybe every other power pole in this case. And that's fine. So now we have a block there. And then we have a block here. And then we have a block here. Then we have a block there. You can see the colors changing. It just means that we're identifying multiple blocks. And then we have a block here. A block there. And then one more block for this power pole. And then same thing on the other side, right? So we're going to go block here, and then we're going to also do the same thing here. So block. Again, putting the signals on the right side of the rail in order to indicate right-hand drive. If we try to put it on the other side of the rail, you can see there's no slot there because we've already defined the directions we're going. You can put signals across from each other, and there's some complex reasons for that, for doing that. I'm not going to go into that right now because A, I don't fully understand it. I only have a basic knowledge of rail systems, right? Like I said, my tutorial series, I need to watch more in-depth tutorial videos on how trains work and operate, and then I can come back and teach you guys all of the more complex ways that trains can be done. I'm watching that train, make sure I don't get run over. Don't get run over, guys. It's embarrassing. Except it happens to everybody, so don't be embarrassed when it happens to you. It will happen to you. You will get hit by a train eventually. It is inevitable. It is part of the Factorio experience. Enjoy. Enjoy being smacked by your trains. Hi, train. So our train's now doing its thing. Now we have plenty of coal in our base. Hooray! As long as we've connected everything correctly, which I think we did. We'll double check that once we're done breaking up our train network into blocks. I didn't place any signals there. So I still need to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to run in the middle so I can just do them both at once. And here. And then here and here. And then here and here. And we're pretty good. That's a big block, but that's okay. That's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Something else that you can do is when you open up your map, if you want to check your rail network status to help you debug issues when you do signals, there's the signal icon here. It will show you your rail signal status, right? So right now the greens mean that trains are allowed to go in, right? The red means trains are not allowed to go in. So if there were another train right now, our coal train is taking up this block. So this signal is now red, indicating that a train cannot come in here. So a train will continue to go along our main network. It cannot come in here until this train leaves. Once this train leaves, this light's going to turn green, and then as the train travels, these lights are going to go red, green, red, green, red, green as the train travels along into the different blocks. So let's watch for a moment. Hopefully this fills up. It's more than halfway done. Yeah, we need to get to stack inserters. The fast inserters are fast, right? Stack inserters are just way better. So let's wait a bit. Waiting until our train leaves, just so you can see the signal go from red to green to indicate that this block will now be open. And then as the train travels, you should see the signals go red, green, in order to indicate that each block is taken up by a train. And you want to break up your main network into different blocks. That way trains don't crash into each other as you have multiple trains going. So see, red, red, yellow means something's coming, that a train's going to enter the block. And there we go. And now this block is occupied, so trains would continue along this path. And that's essentially how that works, more or less. Awesome. So we've got our train set up. So now let's just go double check our coal connections, make sure everything is merging correctly, even though we're not using the coal all that fast. We just want to make sure everything's merging correctly so that way the coal does get used as it gets used. So that coal looks like it's merged okay. This coal is definitely being used more quickly, which is totally fine. That means power is humming along. Let's go ahead and throw some lights on that power. I need to get better in general about just throwing in lights. Lights in general. We want to keep our factory nice and lit up. Okay. But yeah, this coal is definitely being used. So that means the coal is definitely being used here too, which is awesome. And then we are routing some more coal this way. This coal's not being used as quickly, and that's fine. And then let's go ahead and grab this and this because they're out. And this. And then we're merging coal here, which is great. And then finally, on our main bus, we'll be merging coal down there, which it looks like we're doing successfully too, which is great. Awesome. So yeah, our coal is in good shape. Let's throw down some more lights and we'll call this a video. And then that way next time we can continue to expand our mall. We can start working our way towards blue science, which will be awesome. Blue science unlocks so much stuff. It's incredible how much it unlocks. So yeah, looking forward to it. Wow, I built this pretty sloppily last time, but that's okay. It's okay. If it works, it's fine. This setup here is much cleaner. Good job, past me. That looks good. Sweet. Let's make sure we got lights on our military science too. We're almost out of lights. we'll need to go get more. We are automating lights, right? Let's grab some more. Oh, yep, we are. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and clean up our inventory. Again, I'm just gonna throw some wood in there. Throw some stone in there. And we are good. Let's go ahead and put our... Well, I'll keep the train stuff, it's fine. Let's go ahead and get rid of the yellow belts that we got. Oh, we picked up the yellow belts when we started merging onto the bus. That's how that works. There we go. Let's grab some more red belts while we're here. And then next time, we're going to automate stack inserters. And then from there, we'll upgrade our loading and unloading stations, and then we'll go towards blue science. So yeah, looking forward to all of that fun stuff. Yeah, again, hopefully the mic situation's been fixed. Fingers crossed that this recording recorded okay. When I'm editing, I will be really annoyed if the pop is still there. Because like I said, I tested it before starting this recording, and the mic sounded okay to me during the test, so hopefully it still sounds good during this recording as well. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully that's been fixed. I also hope that you guys had a good time. Hopefully you guys learned something. Life is good, and I will catch y'all next time.